Mallory?
On Facebook, yeah, she got a Keurig for Christmas, like a one-shotter. Like it makes one cup. Hey, Facebook, happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Get your layers ready, people.
That's right.
Today on the Amazon thing, I bought Twitter, I followed this account that has like price mistakes. I bought a second balaclava just for this week. It'll be here Wednesday because it's gonna be so cold. You know, it's like the robber mask that I wear when I run.
Yes. Of course, Mike follows a price mistakes place on Twitter. By the way, just throwing that out there.
It was normally 17. It was for 7, so I bought it real quick.
Oh my gosh,
that's how cold it'll be. So yeah, wear layers and no exposed skin because apparently in 10 minutes.
It's supposed to snow here in Atlanta, and by snow I mean a dusting. And they've already canceled work for me tomorrow. Like I legit don't have to go in. I just get to work from home. So working in my pajamas tomorrow.
Welcome to my world.
Exactly.
No, I get up and get going. I can't do that.
I can't either, actually. I have to get dressed. Yeah.
I get up, I get my run in, I take my shower.
I sit in my pajamas all day.
No, I mean, like, the pajamas may happen, but I'm up at 5 o'clock. So
no, I'm not up that early. No.
And last night I was laying in bed and it was late, at least for me, and I wasn't falling asleep, and I don't know why. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, maybe I'll be able to sleep in tomorrow. Oh. So the alarm went off and Steve got up, and I could tell he was trying to be quiet because he thought, maybe I'd fall back asleep. And I can't. I just can't. So this is the stage I'm at in life now. I just get up at the time I get up.
Do you get up when Steve wakes up? Is that like what wakes you up, or?
No. I mean, we get up at the same time usually.
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, that's good. I just put a pillow over my head while Brian's getting ready, and then I wake up like an hour later.
I get up at 4:45. Pam gets up at like 6:45.
Oh my God! You go out and run
on the treadmill, and I go outside. Yeah. So I try not to, because you don't want to poke the bear in the morning. I'm just telling you.
No, you just called your wife a bear. Way to go.
You know how that goes. I'm just saying, like, if somebody's not a morning, but she always, every time somebody posts one of those things on Facebook, like a meme that has like the morning person, like, like dogs or something, like this is the morning dog and this is the not morning dog. I get those all the time. That's totally the truth. If I mess with her in the morning, dude, you're liable to get hurt.
Oh my gosh.
She goes straight for the like painful spots immediately.
Nice. She knows.
I don't poke the bear.
No. I think I should like to know that. We know how to mess with you.
Her maiden last name was Bullington, and she's always like, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. So there you go. So I stay fair. All right, let's answer questions because you're going to meet Ben Lappin for dinner.
I am.
Yep, Ben. Make sure you tell him I said hello, and I'm going to make those biscuits. Oh man, I love those biscuits. So many people have given me the mix. I can make biscuits for.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I was going to go there today for lunch, and I'm like, no, I'm too cold. I can't have lunch there today.
Oh man, that'd be so good. I've just had the biscuits. So, all right, here we go. So it's 1440. Welcome to episode 1440 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. And like I said at the top of the show in the ad read, man, keep everything covered up here. It's going to be cold this week in most parts of the United States. I know Atlanta is shut down. We'll talk to Rikki about that because they might get a dusting of snow, but that's guess the tacos in the South. Man, it is going to be super cold here in the Midwest. But you know what? No better way to warm up than for some fun Disney talk and just pretend like it. Actually, the best way is to plan a trip. But the second best way is to listen to the show and pretend like you're down at Walt Disney World. And that's what we're going to do here for the next 30 to 35 minutes. So joining me from the deep south, the frozen deep south, Atlanta, Georgia, we have Rikki from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. Rikki, our thoughts and prayers are with your town.
Thank you. We need all thoughts and prayers because, as y'all know, the Super Bowl is happening in the great city of Atlanta. Oh. So we were like sitting here going, oh no, snow. We knew that snow was going to happen the week of the Super Bowl. Like we knew it. And we're just like, yep, that's pretty much what happened. So, but I learned something this week was that, the last time we had one of these snow apocalypse things, we did not have any brine at all. And that was in 2014. And that was when everybody made fun of us for it looked like the literal Walking Dead. Now we have brine, which as someone from Missouri, it floors my mind that the city of Atlanta didn't have anything to put on the streets until 2015. I'm just like, what?
Wait, what does your husband have to do with any of this? You don't have any brain?
Yeah, we didn't have any Brian.
Is he like a one-man car? No, he's like really fast and like runs long distances. Does he like run every interstate in Atlanta and like drop stuff?
And he just and he sweeps it up. He's got like a little broom and he just runs, weaves back and forth.
There you go, dad joke for the day.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
All right, so yeah, we're thinking. You know what? It's because Stan Crocky's team's in the Super Bowl, so
exactly, and the Patriots. I mean, it's just.
God needs to rain just like all the plagues down in Atlanta for the next week.
Exactly. You guys can take your teams back. I don't want them. So
still trying to figure out what I'm going to do on Sunday night because I'm not watching.
I literally don't know. Brian's got to work, because the Super Bowl is here. So, and he works at a hotel, so he has to work, which is super fun for me. I'm just going to be bored.
My dad's down there and having a good time, so good for him, bad for me. All right, also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester, where I'm sure it's going to be a balmy temperature.
It's going to be a
balm and balmy.
It's been a long day, Hey, so hang in there, Pam. We know it's cold in Pittsburgh. How's it going?
It's cold. It's like there's negatives in front of the little numbers now. I'm like, is that a negative? That's really a negative. Okay. And that's without the wind chill. So anyways, yeah, I'm hibernating. I've looked very hard at traveling to Florida, but last week didn't look so good there.
No, it did not. And we will get to that on Friday. Yeah.
So at least at home, I can turn on the fireplace, lay on the couch, have like a blanket, watch movies. I actually, Steve and I don't watch a ton of movies, but last weekend we seemed to do a lot of that. So anyways, whatever. We're going to be going down soon. Princess is coming up soon. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. So
are you guys going to make me fly down for Princess? Brian will kill me.
Apparently, we got that Illuminations thing at Rose and Crown the night before the half marathon. But that's gonna be fun. Hey, who needs sleep?
Oh, you can drink.
Oh God, that's all I needed to hear.
That's what Mike needs. All you can drink. Yeah.
I'm in the back corral too, so I'll have a lot of people to pick off. I guess that's the way I gotta look at it. Anyway, let's get to the questions. That's why you're here. We're all gonna hang in there. We're gonna make it. It's not gonna be that bad. All right, first question for Robin. Yeah, we will. Hi, Mike, Rikki, and Pam. She says, the title of the email is, we want to swim at Stormalong Bay on our checkout day. We are planning a sort of split stay in April. My question is, on our checkout day at the beach club, can we continue to use the pool all day? Or will they sort of cut us off at checkout time? If we have a day bag and change to go to the World Showcase for a few hours, can we go back to the pool? Hope that question makes sense. Thank you all for bringing such varying, honest views of the place that has my heart. Robin. All right, Pam, so we've done this before, so give her the good news on this one.
It is. It's great, Robin, because you can use Stormalong Bay not just until checkout time. It's not like it's 11 o'clock and they're like, you got to go. You can use it all through your checkout day. So that's awesome. And it is great news. And it's great for you to be planning ahead. Bring that bag that has the stuff in it that you'll need to change into and whatnot. And you'll be in good shape. It's a great way to spend the last day, actually.
Oh, man. Think about it. Best way. And the weather should be great then, too. Good weather. All right, next question is from Chris as Mets fans first trip. Hey, Pam, Rikki, and Mike. I discovered BOGP a year and a half ago and now enjoy listening to you guys 3 days a week. I've been taking notes. Catchy baseball subject line. Check. We're planning on taking, see, he knew that if you put a cool, title for your email, it gets to the top of the queue.
I love that.
There you go. So we plan on taking our baby boy to the world for the first time from February 14th to the 22nd, 2020, a few weeks before he turns 3. Well done. We're planning on staying at the Poly. We're focused on his experience primarily, rope drop, long nap breaks, days off, a few character meals, and at least 2 days at the Magic Kingdom. Here are my questions. Number 1, he's a huge Mickey Mouse fan. I'm considering making a 9 a.m. Fast Pass on day 1, so his very first experience at Disney World is meeting Mickey. Is this a smart use of the Fast Pass, or is there a better way to do it? I'm concerned about missing a bunch of rides in Fantasyland because we're on Main Street. Okay, so he has got 4 questions. Let's stop there. Okay, I think that's a great idea because a Fast Pass is best used just on an experience you want to have. And this sounds like exactly kind of the goal of the trip. However, an alternate thing for this would be to you're at the Polynesian. Well, it sounds like you're trying to be at the Polynesian. You could also do a character breakfast with Lilo and Stitch right there at Ohana, which Mickey Mouse is there as well. Knock two birds with one stone. But either way, I think you're fine because you're going to be there long enough. You'll get to do the Fantasyland rides is what I say. So let me get the second one. Since the Fast Pass is really for him, but he's under 3, is there any special way to make this Fast Pass or just make it for us and bring him along? Rikki, talk to that about when you're scheduling Fast Passes and you have kids that are below 3 and they're not on the reservation because, well, they're on the reservation. They just don't have tickets. They don't make Fast Passes. Walk them through that.
Yeah, so basically, since the child doesn't have the ability, they don't have park tickets, you can't really make a fast pass for them. So you just make fast passes for everybody else in the group, and then you bring along said child with you, and they'll let you through the line. It's not a big problem.
And, another good point, too, on that first point is Carolyn saying, no fast pass it, just go right away. So, yeah, you're right.
What I was thinking.
Everybody's going to be rushing past. You're right. You probably don't even need a fast pass. If you go rope drop, that's good. That's a really good point. So I love our chat room. Thank you, guys. Love you guys being here when we record live. That makes it awesome. Number 3, I think we'll be there for the tail end of the Festival of the Arts. Is there much appeal for a 3-year-old at Festival of the Arts? Rikki, what do you think? You just got back. We're going to talk about that on Friday.
So I feel like Festival of the Arts is definitely more of an adult experience, just because it's a lot of art, and there are some things for kids. There's like chalk art drawing that they can do. They have like spots where kids can draw on a sidewalk. They also have like some kind of artsy like they're like statues, living statues that the kids can like get pictures with, but there's really just not a lot of like it's not focused on children, this festival. I feel like you can do the figment brush, the fine figment thing around Epcot too if you want to do that, but again, I just don't feel like it's a very kid-centric festival. But that's just me. I don't know. Pam, you've been. What do you think?
I mean, I think that the photos are cute and the different food booths. I think lots of kids love the different food booths. I don't know what Mike's doing there, but
I don't either. I'm ignoring him.
I'm being a living statue. Just I'm practicing.
Oh, is that what that was?
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Got it.
So I think sometimes there are certain things that will appeal to little kids when you're walking through the food booths, but there's, a lot of things at this festival in particular that I don't think really, draw kids in, but there's always little snacks and things like that they can do. I think that they may find some of the art stuff interesting. And who doesn't want one of those Pop-Tarts? I'm just saying, right? I mean, that has little kid and big kid written all over it. So I think that there are definitely some things to see. And some kids really respond to Epcot and World Showcase in particular. They love that part about Disney World. So yeah, I think it's worth a shot just to see whether it's like.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying don't go, but I'm just saying I don't know that there's a lot for a child to do that's with it. But like you said, Pam, you never know what's going to be their favorite thing that they're going to, latch onto. So it could very well be something from Festival of the Arts that I'm just not thinking about.
Yeah, it absolutely. When Hannah was really little, I remember we took her on Spaceship Earth, and that was the thing that she would talk about again and again to other people. Like when we got home, and then when we'd go back again, she's like, "Today we're going to learn about communication. Like we're at Spaceship Earth," and I was like, "What? I mean, what a weird thing for little kids to like latch onto." But she was like,
"Exactly,
we're going to learn about communication." I'm like, "Yes, we are. Yes, here at Spaceship Earth."
It's always that way. And shout out to George. He's up in Chicago. His plane's getting de-iced watching the show, and he appreciates my visual humor. So, it's like this live show can be a mini Festival of the Arts for you right here. All right, and his last question, Chris's last question. I think there may be a Run Disney event during our stay. He says Princess maybe. How will that impact our experience? It looks like he'll probably get out of there before Princess if it's the 14th to the 22nd, or it'd be right on the tail end looking at the schedule. The only thing that the runners typically go to, well, I just said that we're doing that Illumination thing. We'll be out late the night before the half marathon, but the smart runners will be in bed and out of the parks usually by 6 o'clock the night before the races. But you do have to watch for traffic flows as far as like in the mornings, because sometimes they'll close off the roads. And the Princess Half Marathon runs from Epcot to the Magic Kingdom back to Epcot, so World Drive kind of gets to be a slight mess, but you'll be fine. You're going to be there a long time. That one, it might take you an extra 15 minutes to get to the park. And he closes out by saying, I really appreciate all the joy you bring to the podcast. My dad took us to Disney World for Christmas every year since I was 3. This will be my first big trip back to the world since we lost my dad 15 years ago. Listening to you guys has helped put me back in the frame of mind where I'm really looking forward to taking my baby boy. Thank you so much for all your help and for the weekly dose of magic. So that's very kind of Chris to say. Appreciate that.
That is.
All right, let's get to the next question from Vernon. He's out in Phoenix, Arizona. We're kind of jealous of you, Vernon. I bet you it's not going to be 30 below wind chill for you. He says, hey, BOGP gang, I'm looking to book a room in mid-August, and I'm noticing that the Grandestino Tower is offering club level. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the first moderate resort with club level amenities. My question is, do you know if they'll offer the same amenities as the club level at deluxe resorts? For example, purchasing fast passes, 90-day fast pass plus window, etc. Thank you so much for bringing so much enjoyment into my life, Vernon in Phoenix. So Pam, what are you, because I think that is true. I mean, this is the first club level moderate resort. What are we hearing about the club level amenities over in the Grandestino Tower?
Well, I can tell you one girl who has a reservation at club level on the days that it opens. So I wanted to be there experiencing it for everyone as soon as it happens so that we would have that. So supposedly there is going to be basically the same level of service. I've not heard anything other than it's going to be the same level of service, although they have not specifically addressed all of these things. I'm assuming that they're going to have access to be able to purchase the other fast pass options. And as you all know, that's something you have to pay to do. You need to do that for a minimum of 3 nights. In order to be able to purchase those. So keep that in mind if you want to do that. And while the Coronado is, a moderate hotel, it is always catered to business, and conventions and things like that. They just have a lot of it because they have a convention center. The other thing is Coronado's had a business class level of service there at different times. Sometimes they called it club service. Sometimes they called it business class service. I mean, it was always a little different than the other concierge services, but I have a feeling that this one's going to be more in line with the traditional Disney concierge or club level services. And I've stayed at all of them at the different hotels at different times. They've tend to sort of standardize them a little bit in terms of when they offer food. That's pretty standard. The foods that they offer, there are some that have a little more, I think, originality in that space than others, but I think they're all great experiences. And if you're looking to celebrate something or just want a little extra service, the concierge level of service is something that you may want to consider. It may surprise you that it's not as expensive as you think. So
that just reminded me, because our last few trips to Coronado, before they knocked over the building, was at the like 9B, that one that was it considered business class rooms with that little,
right?
They had that little lounge within the building. That was like the biggest steal. It was like $10 more a night. And like
I know,
ate like $50 worth of cookies a day because they had warm cookies and drinks. Oh, I loved that little room, and then it knocked it over. Oh,
I know. It was really kind of a cool thing, and I think that's the cool thing. That's why we're doing the Epcot Illuminations dinner, because when Disney releases something at first, it seems like the price is a little lower, and that was sort of the case with Coronado. That price is a little lower, so you got to jump on that while you can. When you compare the price of that Rose and Crown dinner to even the price of like a dessert party, we're not far off, and you get dinner at the Rose and Crown thing where you don't, at the dessert party. So anyways, that's one of the reasons why, we were looking to experience that. If you see a Disney bargain, jump on it.
Absolutely. Seriously, I remember when they had those e-ticket nights way back, like in the
right?
2000s, for like $6. It's like what the after hours event is without the snacks, which is $100 now. So yeah, that was good old days. All right, let's get some questions from the live chat. Jillian had a question: what extra ticket events can happen in mid to late August? Can after hour events normally happen the same week as Mickey's Not So Scary? I would say no, but Rikki, this is up your alley.
I don't think that they had the after hours events in the months of Mickey's Not So Scary and Mickey's Very Merry. Maybe Very Merry, but I definitely don't think that they had them during Not So Scary months. So I think they stopped them in about August, and then they don't have them again until maybe December. So now they may have some at Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom though, because those two parks just added the extra, the after hours events. So you may not get them at the Magic Kingdom, but you might be able to take advantage of them at the other two parks. And probably Epcot eventually, because I'm sure they will roll it out to Epcot at some point, because why not?
Why not? And then, that whole crowd's better than any park. That make a lot of sense to do it there. And it closes early most nights.
Yeah.
James is also watching from the Polynesian right now, and he's about to go to dinner at California Grill Fam. So there you go. James is
wow, totally jealous.
Jealous.
What should he get? Real quick, give him 5 seconds. What do you order?
They changed their menu based on the seasonal thing, but I can tell you they always have some kind of pork dish. It's served with this fantastic polenta. They tweak it every time, but it's fantastic. Just really, really so good. They always have a great fish. Their sushi is awesome. There's usually have a salad that when you're reading it, you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting. I want to have it. And it's based on seasonal ingredients. So I don't think you can go wrong with anything there, really and truly. You'll have a great time.
All righty. TJ in the chat says, my question is about an attraction in Hollywood Studios. I never really hear podcasts talk about this, but I'm curious. We see Hollywood Studios transforming before our eyes, and we're losing all the classic attractions. My favorite show at Walt Disney World is Voyage of the Little Mermaid. I do love that show myself, too. I don't know what it is. It's like Captain EO, kind of, to me. It's a time capsule.
It is.
Let's see. Do you think the show is going to last through all the changes to eat people up with the Star Wars land, or do you think the classic era is coming to an end with Voyage, Jones, Beauty, and the Beast? Rikki, where do you fall on this? It is. It's a time capsule. I mean, it's not like the crowds love it. I heard another show, I can't remember, Len's show or somebody talking about how even in 2018, when I was at 2019, I was there for Marathon Weekend. I think I went in and saw it. Like at the end of the show, people cheer, and it's because there are performers and it cheesy live performers. How good
it's cheesy as all get out. Yes.
I mean, there's totally like lasers from 19.
Yes. Yes.
Planetarium show, but I don't know. It has the magic sauce. I mean, is this thing going to last or is it going to go away like Beauty and the Beast and stuff?
Gosh, I really don't know. I think that its days are maybe numbered, but I think that for now, as long the park is just going to need capacity. So I think for now it's going to be sticking around a little bit longer. Maybe not in 5 years. Maybe they'll start doing something in about 5 years. But I think that just like you said, it's so kitschy and dated at this point that it's coming back around again. I don't know, but I just feel like it's probably got its days numbered. But that being said, it's still got a little bit of life left to it too, so they're not taking it down anytime soon with Star Wars Land though. It's not happening.
Yeah. No, I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, but I would say in the next 5 years, it's probably a gone.
Yeah.
Because it's in a prime corner.
Well, yeah, not only that, but I see, because you've got the Star Wars launch bay there. So I see them just maybe taking that whole area and redoing that whole animation courtyard area at some point. Although they did just update the Disney Junior thing, but in 5 years, I'm sure they'll be ready to update it again. Let's just be honest. Yeah. They just keep cranking out new characters for Disney Junior. So,
and what do you think? What's the lifespan on Little Mermaid over at the studio? I think you like it too. I mean, especially the last.
I do. And the thing I like about it most, and I think about this every time I'm there, when they first started and the water is there and they have to go, the crowd always goes, oh, they all like that. And I love anything at Disney that makes the crowd go like that. But I think, we're in an era of seeing Disney try to bring Hollywood Studios closer to more people. I think that the theme that it was, while it was classic to some of us, it just really didn't resonate with a large group of people out there. They don't have those memories, the same kind of memories of the movies or even the attractions that were there at Hollywood Studios. So Disney was really in a position where they had to reimagine it. I'm sure that they looked at, the number of people who visited that park and saw that the numbers were declining, but they're readdressing that. And I love that they kept Grauman's Theater. We're going to see a new attraction in that theater, which I think is something that so many more people will appreciate. And I think it's like Walt said, we keep moving forward. You have to keep moving forward. If it would have stuck with its original, the original filming of Home Improvement and other things in the back lot.
Hello, I still want my Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I never saw that. I would have loved to have been in that show where you nail the things and the thing comes down.
Yes. It was really cool and it sounds dangerous. But the thing is, with things like that, what was happening is if you did go to it, you were one of 10, 20 people in the audience. I mean, the audience kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And I know that so many of us have fond memories of it, but I also really trust what Disney's doing. I think they're on the right track, and I am beyond excited about Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I just can't even begin. And I think everyone is, Star Wars fan or not. I think there's so many things that people love about the Disney films that maybe we will see Little Mermaid reimagined, but it could be something reimagined as something spectacular. So
I'm just saying, if they want to bring back Mickey Mouse Club and have Justin Timberlake dancing around again, I'm more than okay with it.
So in the chat, because we're having a conversation here in the chat, which I love. Again, if you want to drop by with some great Disney fans, it's usually around 5:30 Eastern on Mondays when we record live. Caroline's saying she was kind of underwhelmed with the new storybook character dining at Artist Point, but then other folks are backing it up. And Rikki, I've been only hearing good things about this. Now, I think it kind of depends on your background. I haven't been to this yet. I also had never been to Artist Point. And I know that Artist Point had a small kind of following, but the people who liked Artist Point, like I'm thinking Pam, really liked Artist Point. So seeing that get transformed, I think it kind of depends on your point of view. But let me ask both of you first, Rikki. Following stuff on social media, I think it has been a positive change for the majority of people, majority of Disney fans.
I think it has been. I think that, so for someone like me, I would like to see a few tweaks before I actually go dine there. One of the things that I think is kind of a downer is their dessert selection. If I'm paying all that money for a meal, then you're just making me eat the 3 desserts that I may or may not like. I don't really love that when I'm, I'm paying for that. So if I'm not eating one of the desserts because I don't want gooseberry pie, which I think is one of the desserts that they have, I feel like I'm wasting my money in a way. So I'd really like to see them kind of adjust some of that part of the menu so that maybe you get a choice of what dessert you get. But other than that, I've heard that the food is fantastic. The options that they have for the entrees I hear are really, really good. I hear the character interaction is really fun. And of course, this is from the places that you can meet the Evil Queen, which is, again, just something that people lose their minds over. So I can totally understand how that would be a really good thing. So again, I want to try it. I hope that they'll make a few tweaks as they move forward with it, as far as the dessert, the menu is concerned. And then I would like to give it a try. I don't like when they go that route of this is the only options you get for either appetizer or desserts, because so often there may be something on there that I'm not liking and I'm paying for. But that's just me.
So Pam, what's your perspective? Because again, this was one of the places I know that you really enjoyed.
Well, so I did really enjoy Artist Point. I think we always had really great service there. I will say the one thing that we did encounter was at different times there was inconsistencies in the quality of food that came out of that kitchen. And I don't know what to attribute that to, because sometimes it was great and other times it was just not as good. And I'm not, when Disney wants to change anything, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be okay with me, because I know that they have some bigger picture in mind. I'm not privy to all the, information that goes into each one of their decisions. And I'm okay with that, believe it or not. So that's a lot to think about all the time. But I thought this was really interesting because the character interaction is really something that people were looking for. And I think that they were looking for a better meal with character interactions. There are a lot of people who crave those character meals, but aren't particularly fond of an all you care to eat establishment or a
Right.
buffet or things like this. So this is really needed. And the fact that they were going to bring in some of the most beloved characters with Snow White and some dwarves and some villains like the Evil Queen, I think was really cool to do that. So I love that. And to Ricky's point, I think, Rikki, on the appetizers, they bring you a little taste of each. But if you wanted more of another one, I believe you could ask for it. So maybe then you wouldn't feel as if you were really missing out on something, that these are the choices. And then if there was one that you particularly like, you could be like, hey, can I have some more of this one? So anyway.
And if that was the case, that would be great, but I haven't heard that. So I would be all open to that. So if anybody knows that for sure, please let me know. I would be all in for trying it sooner rather than later.
All right. And also shout out to Michelle in the chat. She is at the Tambu Lounge right now having a drink. So while she's watching. So again, people are living a better life than we are. So she's picking up her
today.
She says it's the last work shift on the Disney College program after a full year. So make sure you thank him for us for making the magic and enjoy that last date. So it's pretty sweet. All right, Jeff's got a question in the chat. He says, I've never been to Illuminations. What? We are staying at Beach Club level in July, knowing that it is ending this summer. Are the boat cruises outside the resort a good way to view it for our first time and only time? Or is there some better recommendations? It'd be myself, my wife, and 12-year-old daughter. I've done the Illuminations cruise probably 2 or 3 times. I love it. I think it is a VIP experience all the way. I don't think it's, extremely outrageous on the pricing. You get some little snacks on the boat. It's an awesome way to see Illuminations. I love it. But Pam, we're doing that thing at Rose and Crown, which I don't know a whole lot about. So maybe give him that option as well. What's that all about?
So yes, and I agree with Mike.
Uh-oh, we just lost Pam.
Oh, we did.
We'll get her back. Here she comes. Watch us. Stand by, everybody. This is live broadcasting. Watch us. We got to tell her. And we're going to keep this in the show. Pam, we lost you for a second. So go ahead. You said it was brought out because people are trying to get that last taste of Illuminations, I think.
It is. That's exactly what they're going to do.
It was Frozone is what it was.
That's exactly what they're going to do. So, and Rose and Crown has a spectacular view of Illuminations from the back patio. It's sort of, there's a bird and then a bottom level that has some umbrellas. So the thing is, it's a prefix menu, and it has 3 courses. Again, you're going to be given some of the appetizers that are popular with everyone, and then you get to choose your entree, and then I believe you have a selection of desserts. They also include alcoholic beverages with this, and they have a signature beverage as well as other beverages as well. Of course, Rose and Crown famous for the different beers and beer pub blends that they offer. I believe those are included as well. So that's a cool thing as well. They're going to have the dinner choices that everyone loves, like the fish and chips and the corned beef and cabbage and some salmon and bangers and mash and things like that. I also want to point out, going back to the appetizers, they have 2 of my favorite, right? The Scotch egg.
Oh, I love
fantastic.
I had that on that tour.
So good. And they have the cheese platter, which is another one of my famous things. I have gone to Rose and Crown many a time for a beer and the cheese platter, I will say.
Nice.
Done that as, a meal often. So they're both really good. And then they give you a selection. They call it a pudding trio platter, which has some of their, and don't think pudding like Jell-O, my friends. Think of something better. Think of the sticky toffee pudding and an English trifle. And there's another one too, I believe it's chocolate. So that's something. And kids have lots of things that they can choose from too. So the beauty of this is, though, that that you're going to have a fantastic view of Illuminations. And I don't want to talk this up too much because I want to be able to do it again.
Right. Yeah, I have one question. Do you think that the English trifle will have beef sauteed with peas and onions?
I hope not, my friends, fans. No,
about.
it's a
all
Friends reference, but yes. So anyways, but yeah, I think it's going to be a great option. And who doesn't want some fish and chips with a beer? I'm just saying this is a good meal. So
I can't wait.
I know. So it's going to be, it's going to be a fun thing. And I think, when Disney first started releasing these specialty dinners and dessert parties and things like that, they got some criticism because people are like, well, it's just, an added thing that you have to pay for, and it's just whatever. And we're all like, yes, that is what it is. But we hear such positive responses to most of these things that I think they're worth doing. You're going on vacation, and of course it's going to be special and spectacular and everything else, but it's these little things, I think, that if you have the opportunity to do one of them every now and then, it really makes some memories. They're very impactful, and Disney does a good job at it most of the time. So
the more you talk about this, the more I'm okay with being swept in the Princess Half Marathon.
I think you'll be fine, Mike.
We'll pick you up with the car at a certain location.
I don't like the balloon ladies, but I mean, it sounds like it would be a fine trade-off. So I'm just, I may not get that pink medal, but in the end, it's all about eliminations and Scotch eggs. So there you go. All right, we're gonna try to squeeze in 2 more questions before we get out of here. Real quick from the chat, Lucas has a question about ADR parking. They say, if we have an ADR at a resort and drive there, how long can we leave our car parked at the resort? For example, could we go to our ADR at Beach Club and then walk over to Epcot for half of the day? I say insert meme of car with boot on it at this point. But in practicality, once you go in, they don't really know where your car is. You could be towed. I'm just saying that, though. The rule says 3 hours.
Yeah, the rule says, they do have a rule about that, and that's not what it is. In fact, when you drive into all the Epcot resorts, it says that it's not theme park parking. What you may want to do, though, Lucas, and I think this will be much easier, is just park in the front of Epcot. Start your day there. Start your day in Epcot. Park in the front of Epcot. Go out through the International Gateway to go do your ADR, and then come back. Then you don't have to worry about your car or breaking a rule or whatever. We are rule followers for the most part, so we can't help it, but that's how it is.
All day I'm like sweating, like, is my car being, like, at 3 hours and 1 minute I'm like, man, is my car being towed? Like, I just, because I'm the person who, if it's going to happen, it will happen to me. Like, that's kind of a general rule of my life. Like, there are 982 other cars that are parked illegally, but they're going to find mine. And Jeep will be in the impound somewhere. So, all right, last question today. We're going back to the inbox from Nicholas, and he says, hey, Mike, Pam, and Rikki, going to Disney World the first week of March, hoping crowds aren't too bad. Anyway, we're going with a baby, and we're only going to the 2 parks, Magic Kingdom and Epcot. We're big foodies, but this was a bit of a last-minute trip. We were able to snag ADRs at the following: Liberty Tree Tavern and Skipper Canteen for Magic Kingdom, Le Cellier and Via Napoli for Epcot. We also got Morimoto Asia and Sanaa for our off-park days. Do you think these were good choices? Anything you would change? Thanks, guys. Love listening to you. Thanks, Nick. I think you hit the jackpot. I think great. Anything you would change, Rikki? I mean, they got Liberty Tree, Skipper Canteen, Magic Kingdom, Le Cellier, Via Napoli at Epcot, Morimoto's, and Sanaa for their non-park days.
No, those sound fantastic. I'm really any choices, not gonna lie. Those sound really good.
I mean, the only other thing you could try, because last minute, so it sounds like the only thing with Magic Kingdom is maybe swap out like a Skipper Canteen for a Be Our Guest. But that's a challenge last minute, so I think you're fine.
Right. Yeah. You could try even up to the day of to see if you could get Be Our Guest, but other than that, you're good.
I think he's solid. What do you think, Pam?
Yeah, I think so too. I will say Skipper Canteen is not always my favorite. I think the food, I don't know. I love the atmosphere. I love the idea of it. And we've had great service there. I think that, go in with, look at the menus and know what you want to order. And that,
yeah,
I think
that's good advice.
It's, it just, there's just something missing in it, and I can't put my finger on what it is, but I think for being able to be in the Magic Kingdom, to have a table, a sit down restaurant, I think that it's just, it's a great choice because it's fun to sit down, I think, and relax and get waited on at different times, especially at the Magic Kingdom after you walk through Fantasyland. Like at that point, every time I think about a place that needs to have alcohol served in it, Fantasyland comes to mind.
Why?
It's like Calgon, take me away. But
it totally is. It totally is. It totally is. But go and enjoy. I think Skipper Canteen is one of those places that it's really fun to go to, even if the food hasn't been that great. I think my main complaint with it is that the menu promises something that they just can't deliver. Yeah, in terms of the creativity of food. But I keep hoping that they'll get there.
And the chat room saying these are great. You have a great, palette of dining reservations. They're agreeing you're solid there. People are debating Skipper's Canteen. Some people are saying that it tries too hard to be adventurous or tries too hard to be like the food's kind of the secondary thing. They're trying to be like, wisecrackers first with the names of the stuff. And they're trying to build the menu around that, I think. But, I think it's try it once, see what you think. Some people love it. Some people don't. But there you go.
Right.
Real quick. Okay. Off topic. The Heinz ketchup caviar. Are you guys entering the contest on Twitter to try to win that? Have you seen that yet?
What? No.
Heinz. Well, you should know, Pam. You're from Pittsburgh. I mean, that's like the Heinz company. They're doing caviar for Valentine's Day, and there's like a Twitter contest. You just have to hashtag Heinz ketchup caviar and like sweeps, and you can win some caviar.
So they're like little bubbles of ketchup.
Yeah, I don't know if they're ketchup. I guess they're fish. Like it's caviar, right?
No, I'm sure. I don't think. Really?
I'm just saying, one of us needs to win. And
what do you win if you win?
There's 150 Heinz ketchup caviar packets, or I don't know, like
what?
I don't know what you get. I saw it on the news while we were recording here. You were talking.
Apparently, we need to watch the news.
I know. I shouldn't have had it on. Anyway, back.
Right.
Our
Mike's watching the news and not listening to us. I see how that
goes. Every time I look at the TV, the wind chill goes down by like 5 degrees. So I was checking, but it was between weather. So anyway, time to get out of here. So Rikki, we're going to talk about virtualmickey.com. One of our great apps is Theme Park Disney Edition. It's a free iOS app. Free. Did I say free? Free iOS app. Turn your Apple device into a Disney device. Rikki, what are we reading about right now?
It's free. So first of things first, we are reading about the fact that Maleficent has returned.
You know what? Maleficent is hot.
She is hot. So yeah, I think that's really the big story is that Maleficent has returned to the Magic Kingdom's Festival of Fantasy Parade, and she still features her steampunk style. She's sporting a refreshed look. I should hope so. Her last look was a little charred, and she's got enhanced new safety features. Again, I should hope so. The last one didn't work out so well, so the parade float was damaged back in May 2018 due to her catching on fire. So. Fire! Yeah, she was a little hot that day.
Okay, as Jim Carrey would say.
Yes. So anyway, she's back now. She does not breathe as much fire as she once did, which again, I mean, rightfully so. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but I would rather her breathe some fire than no fire. So, which was what I was worried was they were just going to bring her back and she wasn't going to breathe anything. So at least I'm glad she's breathing a little bit.
Does she breathe fire or does she belch fire? What would you say?
She breathes. I would say breathes.
Okay.
That's just me.
That's be the next debate.
But I'm a lady.
Yeah, I think that could be the new like blue dress, gold dress kind of thing. Does she breathe?
It could be, yes.
All right, let's get out of here. So yeah, check that great app, Theme Park News Disney Edition, free for your iOS devices over at virtualmickey.com. Again, support the show with our Amazon affiliate link. You know it, and you're going to need layers, so buy them right now over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at BeOurGuestPod and at BeOurGuestMike. We've got an awesome Facebook group where you can come in on Mondays and be a wisecracker just like Joanne. That's right. At Facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, it's time to get out of here. We're going to be back again on Friday. Rikki's going to talk about a soggy, chilly weekend down at Walt Disney World. We're going to debate one of her tweets she had over the weekend because it was genius and it was correct. And we're going to talk about that on Friday. So we hope you'll join us for that. So for Pam and Rikki, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me save this bad dog. Boy, it's gonna be cold, man.
All right, I'm ducking out.
Bye,
My friend.
Pam.
Peace out.
Enjoy. Good luck.
All right, we'll
Hope
see
you
you.
find another place
Okay,
with a workout room in the
Floor bar.
Tell
Four
Yager.
bars.
All right.
Yeah,
See ya.
I will. All right,
Bye.
see y'all.
Bye.
Pam is going to record another podcast for another squad. She's been great. Episode. What was that one?
She doesn't like us anymore. She says she wants off. She wants
Eric,
to go.
so some of the questions. Oh, so Mark, congratulations on being a cast member now. On the
Yeah, that's awesome. Sorry I missed you. I didn't get to see you while I was down there, but I literally was in and out for 48 hours, so I didn't get the chance to see a lot of people.
I like Eric's idea of busting out marshmallows and
I
roasting.
think that's fantastic.
And somebody says, "Oh, I doubt there's gonna be free dining after Halloween." It depends. It depends on the if it
depends
open, which I guess it will.
It depends on when they open Galaxy's Edge, and
yeah.
What do you want? Opie says hello. Oh.
All right, so let's do it so you can go beat Ben. Beat.
I'm gonna go beat Ben.
Don't beat Ben. Beat Ben.
I'm gonna meet Ben for dinner. I'm excited.
Yes, Pam is seeing other podcasts behind our backs.
Yes.
Oh, Mark gets to go to Pandora tomorrow. It's awesome.
Nice.
Dang, George is still in his plane. Can't get out.
Oh, that stinks.
Anything for them at Festival of the Arts 5 and 2-year-old? We talked about that, Michael, at the beginning of the show about for 3-year-olds. So just go back and listen on Wednesday. Not a whole lot, but I mean, there's foods and stuff and Figment stuff. And
yes.
Yeah. Or rewind. Yeah, you can rewind the show. All right. So let's do 1441. So we can get Rikki out of here to go see Ben. All right.
I'm going to have dinner.
Where are you guys meeting?
Blaze.
Oh, dude, that's cool. That's sweet. We have a Blaze here now. I'm excited for that. We're getting 2 Chick-fil-A's opening this week in North Carolina.
Awesome. There's one. Yeah.
And you know what? It's opening. It's being opened by somebody who won Survivor or didn't win Survivor, but she played it twice. She's from Illinois. She's from Alton, and she is the owner. And a bunch of the survivors are going to be there for the opening, like Wendell, who won.
Really?
Bryce Isaiah. So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, I'm not camping out, dude. No thanks, man. It is ridiculous. Like I thought about camping out, but heck no, man. That wind chill's gonna be like 30 below. I do not want chicken that bad. I work hard, so I have money to buy chicken.
Yeah.
Dude, I can afford a $6 meal. I don't want to lose digits off my body because it's 40 below.
That was a conversation we had at work today, actually, because some people said that they haven't turned their heat on yet or something in their house, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
That heat is cranking right now, and
I'm like, and my coworker's like, yeah, I work hard to pay for heat, so I'm good.
Yeah, there's some things that I book a lot of trips so that I can afford certain things like chicken sandwiches and burritos and heat.
Yes, yeah.
All my friends, Philip, I just got TB gift cards. So thank you again. Appreciate that.
Oh, nice.
He's the best.
Awesome.
Yeah, we need to start talking cruise. We do. Joanne's right. Okay, let's do Rikki's trip report. It's gonna be about 30 minutes, and we're getting cracking. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1441 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you, and welcome to the weekend that is the weekend of misery here in St. Louis. It is Super Bowl weekend, and I really couldn't care less other than my dad gets to experience the Super Bowl. So yay for my dad. I'm excited for him, really, truly, because he's the hardest working person in the NFL. No kidding. I'm not joking about that. But I got to say, really don't like the Patriots. I know I'm rooting for them because I really, really, really don't like the Rams. But I think this is the first Super Bowl I won't be watching. So too bad. I'll have to turn on SEC Network. Hopefully they'll have something good on for us. So anyway, we're going to talk not football and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about Rikki's soggy trip to Walt Disney World last weekend. And she got to do some cool stuff, some of the new stuff that was out there. Got to see all that stuff on the social media. But also I want to hear about strategies for surviving a constant deluge, as they would say back at the old Disney seas. So joining us today to talk about her trip, Rikki from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. Rikki, I hope you guys all survived Snowpocalypse 2019 in the South.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers are necessary or were necessary. But is there a big thing happening this weekend because I don't know. I feel like my city's gone a little cuckoo bananas. It's definitely there's definitely been some signs that something big is happening here this weekend. I'm not entirely sure. Some super thing is happening. I don't know. I got nothing.
And you know what? I know like Pats fans they're all in. I get that because you guys have, you guys win a lot and but I mean, you see, if you're from St. Louis, this is real quick. This is why this is the worst ever.
It is the worst ever. I know that everybody's like, why? But no, it really is the worst ever.
Of course, we hate the Rams because they kind of messed our city over and then took off to LA and then got good. And they intentionally were bad here so they could move. So that's the deal.
That is correct. Yeah.
When we won, we had Warner and everybody. We were great. However, the Patriots, when they beat us in the second Super Bowl where we played them and they won on the field goal, they taped our practices, our walkthroughs, and cheated before we lost to them by barely just a little bit. So we don't like the Patriots either in St. Louis. I love all you guys who love Patriots, so enjoy it, but not St. Louis. It's a tough pill to swallow, this matchup.
It is.
You do win a lot, so congratulations to you guys. Hopefully you win. So anyway, let's talk about your trip, Rikki. So you went down for a weekend to see some of the new stuff with The Incredibles, the Festival of the Arts. And, you're probably like, oh, man, I'm going to go down there. It's going to be 80 and sunny. Have a nice
I was.
Pack the sunscreen. Hopefully I don't get a burn. Tell us about the reality of this trip last week.
This part that really stinks is so I was originally planning on going this upcoming weekend, like Super Bowl weekend. But because I kind of wanted to get out of town for the Super Bowl here in Atlanta. I just kind of was like, I don't know if I want to be here. But when I was looking at flights, I had 3 extra hours that I got to be in Orlando if I switched my flight to the weekend before. So it's like, all right, that's fine. Let's just go, let's go the weekend before. It'll be fine. I'll still get to go down there and get everything I need. And yeah, that was a terrible mistake because it's going to be in the 70s this weekend. And it was not in the 70s.
Disney math doesn't always work out to your favor. It usually does, but in this case, maybe not.
It usually does, but this weekend, not so much. So, and I know, it's hard to complain about cold weather when there are negative temperatures that are being had, but it was miserable. I'm just throwing that out there. It was awful. The weather was terrible, and yeah, it was. So, Saturday was fine. It was a little cool, but I was still comfortable in a sweatshirt. I had a hoodie, that kind of thing. I was fine. It was very comfortable. And then when the sun went down, it got a little cold, but it was still manageable, right? Then Sunday came and, they were forecasting all day rain. And I was like, okay, yeah, haha, it's Florida. Sure, all day rain. No. It was legit all day rain. And the high did not get above like 55. So literally walking around in wet, cold all day. It was terrible. It was and I know I had that tweet of, everybody says a bad day in Florida is still better than a good day at home. No. This definitely made that go into that thought process go into question for sure.
Because I was watching your coverage and from my couch on, I think it was Sunday, and I was watching The Sandlot. I was under a blanket. It was cold here in St. Louis, and just like chilling for a few hours. I don't get a lot of downtime. I had a little downtime on a Sunday afternoon. I saw that tweet come through, and I've been to Walt Disney World in a cold January rain, and I totally said I would much rather be here under the blanket watching The Sandlot than out in a downpour in 50-degree weather in Florida. And you guys know how much I love Walt Disney World. My whole life is built around this. But man, there's just sometimes that, it's not always. It's about 99%, but that was the 1%. I'm like, nah, I'd rather be on the couch.
Again, it was manageable-ish in the daytime. It wasn't so bad. And then as that sun went down, whoo, boy, I'm telling you that, because I was already cold and wet. And then the sun went down and it got colder. And I mean, it was still wet, but, it got colder. And I was just standing there freezing, attempting to eat my food from Festival of the Arts. And I'm just like, this was a huge mistake. Like trying to find some spot to jockey. I literally was eating by the refreshment port bathrooms on the drinking fountains just because it was a place that was semi-dry and I wasn't getting wet. I was literally using a drinking fountain as a table. That's a new one, right? Not a trash can, a drinking fountain.
Hey, yeah, it's that's the next level Disney fandom. You got to know, you got to do what you got to do. You got to,
That's right.
the trash cans, like the expert level, but you were like beyond expert level with the drinking fountain in the covered area. All right. So talk to us about, some of the stuff you got to do, because you got to experience Festival of the Arts for the first time. You also did some of the incredible stuff. So walk us through that for those folks that are heading down here in the next couple months.
I did. So let's start with Festival of the Arts, because that was the thing I actually went down for. And I didn't, obviously, because of the rain and the weather, I didn't get to see all of it. But that just means, again, I get to go down for another trip sometime when, next year or whatever. So, but Festival of the Arts, I have to say, I really do think it could be my favorite festival that Epcot has. I think it's kind of a tie between that and maybe the Flower and Garden Festival. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think that the food options that they have are excellent. They are far and above better than what they serve at Food and Wine. And I know that everybody who is a food and wine homers are like, oh, but no, seriously, like the food is fantastic. It is served. So, at Food and Wine, they give you the little brown trays, and they're like, here's your, it's basically like, kind of like, here's your slop in a way. Here, like, they're giving nice, like, Chinette looking paper plates. And they did like fancy plastic bowls. And, like, the presentation was way above what you see with the other festivals. The food was much tastier. It does, now I will say, the lines are, now granted, they weren't very long on Sunday when I was there, because nobody was there at the park. But during the afternoon on Saturday, when the sun was out and it was nice, the lines were a little long. And that's just because, as Chef Todd kind of talked about, they really are taking that presentation and making these literal works of art. I mean, I went to the France Pavilion, and they had a molten chocolate cake, and they were literally drawing on the plate. I mean, this is something they didn't have to do. They could have just plopped down a molten chocolate cake and said, here you go, here's your cake. They were drawing with, gels and stuff like that, little designs on my plate. I mean, it was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. It looked like something I would have, if I'd have gone to a restaurant here in Atlanta, like they would have served me. I mean, that's how nice.
It sounds like Disney Cruise Line stuff, how the presentation is part of it.
There. Absolutely. 100%. So, I am 100% behind the Epcot Festival of the Arts food. I think it's so fantastic. It's way, way better than Food and Wine, and it certainly gives the food stations for the Flower and Garden Festival a run for their money, because it's just, and Flower and Garden, I think, has some really good and unique food too. So I've now done all 4 festivals, so I do think that this is my favorite one that they have, for sure.
So people keep saying. I think it's because it's new, it's fresh, and maybe with the new thing they have to try harder.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like the Festival of the Holidays, while they've had that before in a way, like that's still kind of something that's relatively new, especially the food booths. And while there are some things that sound good during that festival, I don't know. I just feel like there was definitely more things that I was like, I have to try that. I have to try that. I have to try that at this festival. So, I really thought the food was excellent. As far as some of the other things that they have, they have something that I think a lot of people wish that they had all the time, and that is they have these animation classes, and it's just like what used to happen with the Animation Academy at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and it's in the Festival Showplace, which for those who maybe don't know, in the past that was the Odyssey. It's that big building that's right along the pathway as you're walking from Future World into World Showcase. You'll see there's a big pretty mural that says Festival Center, and in there you can it takes place starting at 3:30 until I think 8:30 is the last one. But you can actually draw the characters, and they have an animator up there who teaches guests how to draw the characters. Now, I do think that as the day progresses, you have a better shot of getting into one of the animation classes. I think, again, kind of like I was saying, in the afternoon, I feel like everybody rushes in there and wants to do those things. And then as the evening goes through, the crowds die down in that area, and I feel like you have a better opportunity to draw some of the characters. But they had quite a few spots set out for people to be able to do that and really get in on that. They also had some really unique things that you could do, like screen printing Festival of the Arts shirts, which was really cool. You could do like marbling on scarves, which was really awesome. I thought that was really, really unique. And there is just a ton of art everywhere. If you guys remember, a long time ago, they had the Festival of the Masters, I think is what it was called. Yep. And this was a festival that happened at, it was actually at Downtown Disney Springs. And it was just for one weekend. And they would have artists come and display their artwork and stuff like that. But again, it was just for one weekend. This takes that and bounces it up to a whole other level, because there are artists literally everywhere littered around World Showcase. I mean, there are just tons and tons of great pieces of artwork that you can purchase. And again, this happens, for like 6 weeks. So, you have time to purchase art instead of, it just being one weekend and you not being able to maybe do that. So, and there are some great Disney artists. I follow some of them on Twitter that are there, have their art displayed. And again, just some very gorgeous pieces of art that you can see and experience. So, that's really cool.
Let me ask you this about the animation classes, because again, when you posted that, those got a lot of notice on social media. A lot of people said, this is what we're missing from the studios. We used to love these classes. I did too. And I can't draw a stick figure, but I used to like just going in. And even when they had it back at Disney Quest, I think they had some kind of an animation class there too, way back in the day. So what's the process for like queuing up? I mean, is it just you stand in the queue, you get in? Do they give you a number? How's that work? For
So, I mean, basically all you do is stand in line. They have some stanchions that are set up that you can do switchbacks. Now, again, it's hard for me to say how early you should get in line, because of the weather, it really impacted this weekend. So it's really hard for me to say exactly how early you should get in line. I would say at least 15 minutes ahead of time. Just to kind of guarantee your spot, unless you see like the line looks really long, and then you might want to hop in a little bit earlier. But I think they have, I think it was every half hour, if I remember right, that they do at art class. So, at least you have some opportunities. And like I said, at the end of the evening, you have a much better, if you've missed it the whole day, you have a much better opportunity of getting in and having the opportunity to draw, just if that's something you absolutely want to make sure you do. So yeah, it was literally just switchbacks that they had for people to line up in.
So what about you, because I've heard a lot about I've heard about a lot of this stuff, but you mentioned like the marbling of the scarves and the screen printing on the t-shirts. Like I haven't heard a lot about that. So is that something you buy the shirt and you go through the process? So it's like a make and take kind of situation. And what did you think of the prices for those kind of things and experiences?
So of course let's start with the pricing. The pricing is definitely a lot, but again, it's a unique souvenir that you can't get anywhere else. And this is handmade in a way, so it's going to be completely unique, especially for the scarves. Now, you can't actually like do the scarves yourself or do the the screen printing yourself. They have cast members there to assist with that. But you get to pick kind of the design that you're looking for, or with the scarves, the colors that you're looking for, that kind of thing. So at least you get some input on what the design looks like in a way. But again, it's just kind of a unique thing that they don't offer all the time, but it gives you one of those souvenirs that's completely Disney, but very, very unique as well.
So what kind of, is it, I'm just trying to picture this. So is it like abstract stuff, like for the scarves and the shirts, or is it like logos that you can kind of manipulate?
The scarves are definitely abstract. It's like they put colored dyes in the water, and then they put, and I don't exactly know how the whole process works, because again, I don't know technical terms of things like that, but then they put it in the water, and then the design kind of morphs all over the scarf, and then they pull it up and the design is there. For the screen printed shirts, you get to pick a design. So they have a lot of Epcot Festival of the Arts designs that you can choose from. I want to say there was probably about 15, 20 different designs that you could really choose from, and then you could choose what color shirt you wanted. And I think there were some other like specialty things that you could do with that, but it was very cool for sure. The marbling of the scarves is done at a booth. That's around World Showcase Promenade. The shirts, the screen printed shirts, you can do that in the festival showplace.
Cool. That's awesome, because I think, my thing is I always like to bring home souvenirs from Walt Disney World that are very unique, and a lot of times I like to bring home stuff that, like, that's why I like Run Disney medals, like I earned it or I created it, not just something I buy off a shelf. I like that kind of stuff. So cool. So
absolutely. And with the being art too, I mean, the Festival of the Arts, if you buy something from the Festival of the Arts, it's going to be a completely unique souvenir for the most part. I mean, it's not like you're going to see that everywhere. Now, granted, it's art, so it costs a little bit of money too. But you get what you pay for. It's a completely unique piece of artwork that you can display.
So another thing I saw that you did, and this is right up your alley with your musical theater kind of background in high school and so forth, is that you went and saw one of the performances. Now tell us about who performed, where they perform, and what were your thoughts of what you saw?
Yeah, so every night now, because they have decided that they are going to do the Disney on Broadway concert series. Every night, guests can catch performers who were actually on Broadway, and they will perform songs from popular Disney musicals. So, and the musicals run the gamut too. So it's not like just musicals that are on Broadway now. Of course, they did have with our presentation, they did have a very heavy Frozen experience, but they did songs from Newsies. They did songs from the now kind of defunct Little Mermaid musical. They did songs from Tarzan, which is no longer playing anymore, because it was they did songs from Beauty and the Beast. The performers that I saw were Carrie Butler and Kevin Massey. Carrie was in Beauty and the Beast, and Kevin was actually in Tarzan. So of course they kind of sang the songs that they would have sang from those two songs, from those two musicals. But the performances last about a half an hour. They're fun. They're unique. These two artists played off of each other really well. So it was very entertaining to watch too. Because these aren't like, it's not like you're seeing, 98 Degrees, or it's not like seeing Neil Patrick Harris and Candlelight Processional. So these aren't as well known of people, unfortunately. The crowds for the performances are not super busy. Again, maybe it was because it was cold too, but I just feel like you have a better shot of getting into these performances than you would, just a standby guest than you would maybe one of the other festivals. So with that being said, they do have dinner packages for these. If you are a Broadway nerd like I am, and you would like to make sure you don't miss one of these performers, like you really want to see Ashley Brown and Josh Strickland, who are fantastic, and you want to make sure you see them perform, I would absolutely make sure you get the dinner package. But when I was there, granted, I did have my brother's friends did save us seats, so I mean I was third row, but seriously, I mean maybe 15 rows back you could still get seats, so and you could see really well too. So I think that you can skip the dining package for this unless you really want to see these artists perform. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Because I think it's good to have stuff that isn't just Walt Disney World is getting, obviously Disney fans, it's easy to jump into the fandom and get on the social media and kind of learn all the tips and tricks, where 10 years ago it was a select few that kind of knew the hacks and stuff. So now it's really, many of these events are really kind of like really hard to get into unless you're really on the ball. But I'm glad to hear that this is kind of something that maybe just somebody that's happening upon, hey, I'm at Epcot today, it's Festival of the Arts, and maybe they get introduced to a Broadway musical and they weren't really intending that. They weren't going for that, but they can still get in, because a lot of these things you get shut out on before you even know it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's gotten completely insane with some of the artists, and you do have to get the dinner package. And so it is nice to be able to just kind of walk up and because when you walk past, you hear the performances. So it's nice to be able to hear the performance and go, hey, I want to see that, and actually go in and actually watch the performance. So again, they did a fantastic job. So I was very impressed with them. But then again, they're Broadway singers, so why wouldn't they be?
I mean, it's like podcasting, man. It's nothing to it. We just,
exactly.
Boom, you turn it on. No, just kidding. So Robin's asking, how expensive were the paintings? I bet they're gorgeous. I would guess that it's kind of like the Art of Disney store where maybe they have some like small little, screens and stuff that, the guy like me could walk home with. But then, if you want an OG big old picture, talking probably thousands, right?
Absolutely. That's 100% how it works. I mean, if you wanted a kind of a smaller painting, or just thing to display, on a coffee table or something like that, you could probably get that for somewhat reasonable. So yeah, I mean, they had huge paintings that were available that I didn't even look at the pricing on, because I was like, I am not going to be able to afford that, even if I wanted that. So
that's your look.
Ryan would kill me if I dropped a couple $1,000s on this painting right now.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So okay, so let's wrap up Festival of the Arts, because we talked about the food a lot last week. You kind of talked about the musical aspect, the visual aspect. So just a tip or two for folks that are going down, because it's going on here for another 6 weeks or so.
I mean, again, don't miss out on the Broadway performances. Even if it's not your thing, it really is a really cool experience. So you definitely want to do that. The food is, again, like I said, it's really good food. It's also a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. These were decent sized portions. So you've seen pictures of the chocolate chip cookie that they have, that it's got like gels on it so that you can paint. It looks like a painter's palette. That sucker was a big cookie. I was not expecting it to be that big. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I thought it was going to be like a small little chocolate chip cookie. It was a good sized cookie that I was glad to split among the three of us. Granted, I was kind of full from eating all the other stuff from Festival of the Arts too. But I feel like the food, the portion size for the options that you get are really decent sized. So you may want to do a thing where you share amongst the family if you are there. Again, make sure you go into the festival center, because it is just a kind of unique experience as well. They do have, like I was saying last week, they do have some seminars that you can take part in. Some of them do cost money. Just make sure you check the Times Guide or check online to see what seminars may be going on while you're there. And some you may have to sign up for ahead of time. So if there's a seminar that looks intriguing to you, I know they have like cell painting seminars for some things that you can do that have a special cost to it that you have to sign up for ahead of time. So there's definitely some unique things that you can do as well as that. And one thing that I didn't get to do that I'm really sad, but because of the weather, it just didn't work out, was I really wanted to do the paint on the mural thing that they have. And I didn't get to do it because it just, when it's raining, they don't want you out there painting on a mural. So
where's that located, the mural? I've seen pictures of it, but I can't picture where it is.
Yeah, because it's not where I thought it would be. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I thought it would be like, for me, I thought it would be on the walkway from like Imagination to World Showcase, but it's not. It was kind of in between Canada and the main pathway for going back to Future World. But it wasn't on the walkway down. It was really right there in the middle of still World Showcase.
So kind of by the refreshment port kind of area.
Yeah, it was kind of by the refreshment port.
The DVC stand.
Yeah, it was a little bit further over to the to the side there, but it was by the promenade. I think it was the promenade food booth.
Yeah,
is where it was. So
cool.
yeah, it was more in the center than I thought it would be.
All right, so you did some other stuff outside of Epcot. I know you saw the incredible stuff. So is that just your basic dance party, or what else did you do?
So it's actually really cute. It is. It's definitely something that Disney is like, hey, you know what? We have this giant Star Wars land area opening later this year, so we may want to throw in something in this Pixar area that we aren't using anymore right now. So it felt okay, it feels a little temporary, but it's still fun. They have it's set up as Municiberg. They took the section that used to be where Toy Story Mania was, and they've kind of reskinned it a little bit. So where the hey takeaway counter is, that's now the bakery where you can get the Jack Jack's cookie num num. Matter of fact, they how they had the Woody's thermos there. I mean, they really just wrapped it with they took off the Woody's thing and they wrapped it with a new like thermos skin. So like, it's still like this, the bits and pieces are still there. They just kind of reskinned things. They do have in the area where you could meet Buddy and Wooz. Wait.
Well, I think maybe Woody and Buzz, or Buddy and Wooz. That's a good one, though. Yeah. They're the knockoff. They're the Mixar characters, is what they are.
I was trying not to do that because I know you've done it before, and I was like,
you gotta be careful because we do pay the big cost to Pixar and Disney, so we can use the real names here on the show for you.
No, I still can't do it. Buzz and Woody.
There you go.
So I got it now. Yeah. So where you used to be able to meet them, you can meet Edna Mode. This is where I think they put all their money because they redid the waiting area for this. So they have like the super suits for Frozone and Mrs. Incredible and the old Mr. Incredible, super suit. So, and then you get to meet Edna here. So that's kind of a nice meet and greet opportunity where there's, I'm still laughing, where you didn't get to meet Edna before. So that's kind of cool. They have some photo opportunities, so if you're Instagramming away, you definitely have some spots where you can do that. And then they have the Super Shindig, which is, of course, a dance party, because what is it at Walt Disney World without a dance party? So you can dance with, the Incredibles characters. They also have some other characters that are roaming the streets as they would be, so they have like a TV reporter who's there to get the scoop on things, and some other like characters that are there to kind of talk to the Incredibles and things like that. So they have a little bit of a show element with it. They had the one reporter guy interviewed a little girl, and they gave her one of the cookie num nums, and they were asking her thoughts on that. So was kind of, that was cute. Yeah. So anyway, it's cute. It's temporary. It's fun. If you're looking to just have something new and experience, this is definitely something that you can do. Is it going to stay forever? No, it's not going to stay forever, but something fun to do if you're going like this summer or something like that. Cause I think it ends on September 30th, actually.
Woman, where's my super suit?
Yes. It's Honey. Honey, because her name is Honey. Her name is Honey. Yeah.
I thought it was Woman. See, if I said that, I would get hurt by my wife.
yeah, you get stabbed.
Yeah.
It's Honey. Her name is Honey. A lot of people didn't know that that's actually her name. They just think he's calling her Honey, and no, that's actually her name. So anyway, yeah, so you learned something new today.
So we have about 5 to 10 minutes left. What else did you do down there? Maybe tips for surviving the rain if it happens to you.
I definitely have those. So let's go back to the Magic Kingdom. I wanted to go to the Magic Kingdom because you can now meet Mickey and Minnie together at the Town Square Theater. This is again a temporary thing, limited time opportunity, but you can meet them, I think, again until September 30th, and they are meeting in their fun Fetty costumes, is what I like to call
90s. It. So 90s.
Yes, it's very 90s. It will not age well. But it's to celebrate Mickey and Minnie's 90th birthday. And make sure that if you do go, there's a, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but right now there's a counter where you can go and sign your name and where you're from, and to celebrate Mickey's birthday. And they'll give you like a card, and it's got some stickers in it. So that's kind of a fun little takeaway that you can get. But it was great to meet Mickey and Minnie together. I don't know why they decided to put Mickey in culottes, but that's what they did. So I got nothing. I really don't know why they didn't give him long pants. But yeah, but it was really fun to get to meet them. I had a good time. A couple other things that they're doing that I didn't get to experience because of the rain is they did change up the Move It, Shake It, Mouse Could Dance It street party, which I've actually heard good things about, and I was really disappointed that I did not get to see. But when it's raining, they're not going to have that take place. Also, I didn't get to see this too, but because Mickey and Minnie are now meeting together. Pluto has moved back to where Minnie was meeting in the Pete Silly Sideshow, which means where Pluto was meeting, which was at the front by the flagpole, they're now doing kind of a limited time character thing. So again, I didn't get to see it because they weren't going to have the characters standing out in the pouring rain. But they're doing unique characters like I think Robin Hood. They're doing Chicken Little. They're doing the big one is they're doing Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde from Zootopia. So they have like a bunch of different characters that are out there meeting. It's just one per day, but they do have a different surprise character each day, which is kind of a cool thing, especially for those who like to meet characters.
Limited time magic.
Limited time magic is back, baby. So okay, let me give you guys some tips for the rain and the cold. I did not quite heed my advice on this. I very strongly suggest bringing a water repelling jacket. I just wore a hoodie and it got damp. Even though I had an umbrella, which I am one who lives and breathes by the umbrella. I don't know how people wear the ponchos because it feels like a sweatbox. B, when it's raining, the rain is still hitting your head. So like, I don't understand how that's okay. It's not okay with me. So I have an umbrella that I bring with me. I have an extra large umbrella so that it keeps me dry. Granted, it did not keep me dry because of how much it was raining, but it still worked better than nothing. But yeah, because it was so wet, like my jacket just got damp. My jeans were damp the whole day. Another tip, bring rain boots if there's a day like this that it's just going to be cold and rainy and wet, because my shoes got sopping wet by stepping in puddles that just inevitably show up. So if there's like a day where it looks like it's just going to rain all day, make sure you pack some rain boots as well. I know it's a weird thing to want to pack, but I really wished I would have had them, because again, nothing is worse than having wet shoes, wet socks, and then you have to wear those same shoes the next day. Mm-hmm. So, make sure you at least pack an extra pair of shoes if you're going to do that too. But yeah, it was definitely cold. You might want to bring like the hot hands, hot feet. I had them with me. I was too cold to actually bust them out. Like that's how cold. Like I was like, I can't open it. Because my hands were wet the whole time. Like, they were damp. Like it was literally just, I was damp from head to toe all day yesterday. So, that was kind of, or I guess I should say Sunday. So that was kind of a bummer. I was damp. Damp was the key word for yesterday. Sunday, damp. So
I watched the Pro Bowl, which was, in Orlando as well, over at Camping World Stadium, and it was just pouring. I mean, pouring. So yes. Yeah, I felt for you. I mean, overall, it sounds like you had a good time and the crowds were low.
I did. We made the best out of a bad situation. It's just like I said, when the sun went down on Sunday night and I was damp all day, and it got really cold. It was 6:30. And I had, again, I talked about how I picked the earlier weekend because I wanted more hours, and I ended up leaving the park early. But it was 6:30, and I was like, I can't stay here anymore. I have to leave. So, that was my bad.
Yes, actually, right now in the chat has the tip I was going to say, which I've learned a long time ago. If you take newspaper and throw it in your shoes, like crunch it up, it will wick the water. No kidding, super fast out of your shoes by the next morning. It's a great tip.
Very helpful.
You can get a newspaper down at the gift shop. So, well, I mean, it sounds like, all in all, the thing is, you can't control the weather. You plan, you want to have
the best for it.
You make the best of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I did get my Mickey sipper. I'm so excited. So I did. Thank you to Cheryl Perlmutter who got it for me. So I'm so thankful. And that was so very nice of her. So I got my sipper.
Yay. All right. Well, hey, good trip. And, we'll have to get down there. You have to come down for Princess, maybe. See if you can swing it.
I can't. I realize that's my niece's baptism weekend. So I can't. I'm like legitimately stuck on that weekend. I can't do anything. I have to go back home to St. Louis that weekend.
Oh, well, you're missing out, man.
I know. I'm so mad at myself. I was like, no, I could have picked any weekend for the baptism, and I picked this one.
We'll make it. All right. Well, thanks for sharing with us, Rikki. Sounds like you had a good soggy trip, but fun had by all, as much as you can.
Fun was had by all. Yes. Oh, one other thing, because it was so wet and cold, I got to meet a lot of characters. I had the best meet and greet with Merida I've ever had in my entire life. Somehow, she legitimately talked to us for a good 5 minutes, and I'm going to tell you, there were people in line behind us, and I'm pretty sure they were like, would she stop talking to these people? Like,
Wow.
it was seriously the most fun meet and greet. Somehow she got me to touch my nose with my tongue. I didn't even know I could do that. And so it was a riot. So thanks, Merida. It was fun.
It sounds like it's almost a human resources issue, but not quite. I don't know. That's
not quite. Yeah.
Anyway. All right, well, don't forget today's show brought to you by the great folks over at the Magic for Less Travel. When the weather is miserable, that's the best time. Seriously, that's the best time to start looking at your next Disney vacation and put down that deposit because it gets you dreaming. There's nothing better in cold weather than to dream about your next Disney vacation. So just drop by themagicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote while you're there, and let them know you heard about them here on the Be Our Guest podcast. And you and I are going to be planning a great Disney vacation. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. And again, you got to do some shopping online. Do it at Amazon. Use our Amazon affiliate link. We appreciate that so very much. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. We've got an awesome Facebook group at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. And if you have a little spare time this weekend, I know it's a busy weekend for a lot of folks watching some football and everything, but we'd really, really appreciate an iTunes or Stitcher review. So if you, wherever you pick up your podcast, just take a couple minutes, please, jot down your thoughts on the show, give us a star rating. That helps other people discover the show, and we appreciate that so very much. So thanks so much in advance for that. So time to get out of here and let you have a great weekend. Thank you so much for checking in. Everybody tuned in live. We appreciate that so very much. Everybody who downloaded, streamed the show, thanks for doing that. We just love having you as part of the podcast community.
One other thing too, I just want to throw in, for those who don't know, we do have a TeePublic shirt shop, and I created a very fun shirt that is absolutely perfect for our show. It is the Disney Skylander gondola system, so it's really cute. And if you want to support the gondolas, we've got the shirt for you.
That's right. Check that out as well. All right, we're going to cut you loose. Hope you have a great weekend. Whatever you do, have fun, party with your team if they win on Sunday. But please, the most important thing is that you're back here on Monday. So stay safe. Right. Don't drive if you're out there having a good time. Have somebody else drive for you. Have a sober person like me that doesn't care about the Super Bowl. Hey, I'll take you home. I'll take you home from wherever party you're at, because this is just the worst matchup ever for a St. Louis fan. It's horrible.
Correct.
Yes, I hope your team wins. Go you guys. Because I love football, but this is killing me. So anyway, have a great weekend. Stay safe. For Pam and Rikki, I'm Mike. Wish you an awesome weekend, and we'll see you real soon. All right, Rikki, go have dinner.
Yay! I'm gonna go meet Ben. Ben, I don't think you're here. I will. So, all right, guys, have a great night, good weekend, and I'll see you all next Monday.
Yep. See you then, Rikki. And Phil, I'm going to get some Taco Bell so I can edit to Taco Bell. Thanks, buddy. All right. See you.
All right. See ya. Bye.